Welcome to the Inspiration Station hosted by Joshua Lenox, the place to fill up your tank if you're in need of encouragement and motivation.
Hey, it's Joshua Lenox, y'all, and it's the Inspiration Station right here, and it is Friday, February the 20th, 2026, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is also your Chief Encouragement Officer. That's right, I am your CEO, and I am glad to be here with you guys tonight, as I'm glad to be with you all the time. So I know all of y'all are trickling in. Sometimes it takes a little time, and I'm definitely patient, but hurry up. But no, as you guys are coming in, please let me know how your day has been, how your week has been. Let me know if there's anything new that's happened for you, anything that has any highlights of yourself, or anything new in your life that you're excited about. And as I always say, yes, we're going to have challenges because that's just life. That's just what comes with life. But they are always reminders to let you know what you can overcome, because you've overcome many and you will continue to overcome many as you move forward into the future. So, as you guys are coming in, I hope that this Friday has been very productive for you. I hope it has been full of just joy, love, peace. Y'all, we need that more than ever. I know I say it all the time, but we need that more than ever for us to spread love. It doesn't hurt to smile. It doesn't hurt to give a kind word. It doesn't hurt also to give somebody a karate chop to the throat. To pray for them if that is needed. But and good to laugh sometimes. Sometimes I really sometimes see people's faces and they just so frowned up, and you never know what anybody's going through. And it's just like, what would it be like if they could just bust out laughing or something like that? So I want to say hello to everybody out there on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, LinkedIn Live, Spotify, Apple, and also Audible. I'm so glad to see what God is continuing to do here on the Inspiration Station as things just continue to increase in all ways. And just also seeing the numbers continue to increase, especially y'all are on. I keep saying it, and this is nothing on the other platforms. It's just to say that there's so much that's happening on YouTube. And I ask that you guys just continue to subscribe, continue to share. And I'm so amazed also at seeing how many people overseas that are watching, and the people who are international. And that is just a blessing. And as I always tell y'all, just get started. Whatever it is, you don't know what God's going to do with that just by you taking one step. I mean, it might even be a baby step, and what God will do with that. So trust yourself and bet on yourself, because you got too much stuff in you, and that you don't want to let continue to just sit there. Stir up them gifts and put them to work, whatever that might be. But as we're going to jump in, I want to just jump in tonight, you guys, on this wonderful Friday, let you get off to a wonderful start to your weekend this evening. It is very interesting, I think, to now see, y'all, this is we're coming up on the last week is it the last week of February will be next week? I know February is short. And let me say this too. I did celebrate my birthday. I was on the 9th, and it's amazing to me because I don't remember, how fast stuff really goes until then, because that happened. I was like, okay, it's my birthday. There's a lot of reflection, looking at things. And I'm like, you turn around and here we are at the 20th already. So I hope that everyone, again, has had an amazing day, week, and will have a wonderful weekend as well, and remainder of your month and year. So let's jump right in, y'all. If this is your first time, this is not your last, and I'm glad that you're here, because you're going to be stuck like glue. And just mark my words by the end of this. But the Inspiration Station is absolutely a place where we are all included. This is not about the vessel who you're hearing speak to you right now. The Inspiration Station is where we're open, we're honest, and we're vulnerable, not just with others, but also with ourselves. Also, because we want to make sure we're loving on ourselves as best as we can, because the relationship that's often neglected is the one that we have with ourselves. I know y'all were waiting on me to slow it down, but you know it now. And if you're new, I'm sure you're catching on to it really quickly. Also, the Inspiration Station was just a nickname I was given several years ago, and now to see where it is just amazing. The person told me they felt like I was a person who knew how to send out signals like a radio station that people needed to hear, and here we are. This is also a place where we will have people come in. They will be interviewed. They're coming, y'all. They're coming. Just keep your eyes open and your ears open. But people will be interviewed here. People who you may know from afar, people who you are very much so influenced by, people you've seen on television. You listen to their music. You see them on a football field. You see them in office, whatever it is. You just never know who's going to stop by. And when I said that, almost sound like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Never know who's coming by because you never knew who was coming by on his show. So, but yeah, people coming by to drop some nuggets of wisdom and give us a little bit more of a push in our lives to inspire and motivate and encourage us. And again, we are to be inspired, motivated, and encouraged on this platform. However, is to motivate us to make some level of action, whether that action is just changing in your thinking, because it starts with your thinking first. Your thinking starts before your action starts. So, another thing I want to say is this is a place where I believe there is some level of evolution I'm starting to see with people. As people have shared some of their feedback with me, you start to come here not to just be inspired to become something, but to become someone that you've never seen before, that you've never met before, that is residing on the inside of you. So I'm ready to move on. Are y'all ready to move on? I'm ready to get on in this thing and let y'all loose. Make y'all sound like y'all are just waiting and anticipating to hear what we're going to talk about tonight. But the title of tonight is going to be called Say What You Need to Say. Say what you need to say. Y'all remember this song? Say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. Oh, I want to take that to church so bad. Say what you need to say. I was gonna go somewhere with my voice, but yeah, say what you need to say. Now, as I've already said the title, I'm sure some of you are wondering, like, say what I need to say. What you about to talk about, Josh? Well, let's jump right into it. Before I do that, I want to give you a quick story. Then I'm going to give you 6 points in 3 areas that are going to help us understand maybe the challenges and difficulties we have with speaking up, asking for what we need, sharing our visions, our dreams, our goals, our desires with other people, speaking about our wants or anything like that. So I just want you to kind of lock in with me really quick, and I'm going to run y'all through this thing and we'll get you on out of here. But one story I wanted to share is for me, last year, someone very important in my life, very vital in my life, we had a conversation last May. Yes, last May. Last May. They were literally asking me, what are some things I want to see in my life? What are some things that I desire? What are some things that I, dream of? And, just basically asking things that about me. And I started to talk. And before I realized it, they told me, I noticed you get nervous when you start talking about yourself. And for me, I think anyone who knows me, and if you don't know me personally, I'm not a person to become defensive. If somebody points something out at me, I'm going to take heed to it immediately. It's not something I'm going to say, I don't think you know what you're talking about. I will literally stop for that second. And I did in that moment of our conversation. And I was like, I guess I didn't realize that, but I think I know why. And I immediately started to explain to them when I have learned over the years when I speak about me, if somebody asks me directly about my wants, my needs, my desires, things that I want to see happen in my life, I think I freeze up because I've had great experiences where I have allowed myself to be vulnerable and open with people, and I've been met with great disdain, being ridiculed, being mocked, being negatively spoken to, being yelled at, being condescended upon, being ignored. So when someone, this person who I'm speaking about, who deeply has a great care for me, and wanted to just know, what are your thoughts on your life? What do you want for yourself? I felt on the inside like this battle. It's like, uh-oh. I started to speak anyway, but I didn't realize I was being nervous. I was nervous. And I could understand why. I was like, oh, I'm nervous because I'm hoping, even though this person is very safe, I'm hoping I'm not met with this, the past patterns of what I've seen when somebody's asked me certain questions like that, because I have endured painful experiences when I've done so, which would cause me to just be silent. I'd move in silence. Somebody see me do something and be like, where did you do this? Or why didn't you say nothing? It's like, you'll see the fruit of it. I'm not gonna share with anybody. I'm just gonna do me and handle my business. But it's like, but why should I have to be quiet? Why should I have to be silent? And also asking for what I needed from people would be met with those things too. And it's like, especially being gaslit really big. It's like you ask for something that you need or whatever, and then the person is just attacking you almost like, what are you talking about? Why are we talking about you need this and then need or whatever? Or the person did not rise to the occasion. And that could be in any scenario, any type of relationship type or any kind of scenario. It could even be with work. You might ask people that you ask your boss to stop speaking to you a certain way because you need them to be more respectful or whatever that is, and they might fly off the handle with you. So sometimes you end up learning how to suffer in silence. You don't speak up about what you need. You don't speak about your wants. You don't speak about your dreams. You don't speak about your visions. You don't speak about your goals. And let me say this before I move on. If you are surrounded by anyone who belittles or minimizes or is very toxic, unhealthy, and I would even say that would be verbally or even mentally or emotionally abusive to you. Any abuses is not to be tolerated. But in those three specifics, you might need to do some reevaluation or some removal. Reevaluation or removal. You should be able to feel safe to speak to people close around you and allowing yourself to be open, honest, and vulnerable, as we talk about on here, and expressing what you need from them, letting them know certain dreams you have, things you just want to talk about yourself. And when you're not used to talking about yourself, it can be difficult anyway. So when somebody really is invested in you, if you've been quiet, if you've been scared to speak up, sometimes you just end up freezing. And it's like you start to stumble and stammer like I was. Okay. Just wanted to kind of say that before we jump into these things. But I want to say something about the six areas first, the six areas that may cause people to hesitate to speak up, hesitate to share. The first thing could be fear of rejection or disapproval. Honestly, that, sometimes you might be worrying what others will say. They might say no, they might judge you, or they might view you negatively. And it also causes you to hold back. It's like if I speak up about maybe something I want in my life or a need I have from somebody, I'm scared they're going to turn it down. They're going to reject it. They're going to just disapprove of it. They're not going to want to hear it or they're not going to want to adhere to it. Say, for example, if you tell, maybe you're in a romantic relationship and you say, hey, I don't like when, I need you to speak a little bit more calmly to me when we talk or whatever and not yell at me. Well, that person might have a fear that that person's going to again, attack them, come at them, and make them feel maybe small, or maybe they tell them that they're tripping or they doing the most or whatever, or you too sensitive. And it's like, okay, that might cause a person to, when they have an issue, they just keep their mouths closed. The second point is feeling unworthy or insecure. Some believe that their needs aren't valid, or that they don't deserve help, support, or resources. Now, something like this, feeling unworthy, I can see how sometimes that can show up in prayer in your relationship with God, or just in any way, but specifically that you might not want to pray big prayers because you're like, oh, I feel like that's too much. I feel like I'm asking God for too much. I don't feel like I deserve all of that. I shouldn't be asking Him for that. Or if you're in a friendship, you might be asking for them to show up and support you. You want them to support you and come to whatever you're doing in your life, whatever you're building in your life. But you might feel like you're unworthy of that type of support or that type of love. The third point is you have a desire to avoid conflict. Some people, we don't like conflict, but it doesn't have to always be toxic or unhealthy. Um, Sometimes asking for something may feel risky and you think that it could upset someone or create tension, or so people choose to just go silent. That seems to be a common thing. We go silent when we feel like our voice is not going to be heard, or our choice of something or our need of something is not going to be heard. So you shut down because it's like, well, I don't want to start a fight. I don't want anybody to be mad at me. I don't want anybody to be upset about me about anything. And it's like, well, what if somebody offended you or said something to hurt your feelings? You don't want to say anything. It's like, no, I'm just gonna let this slide. Four, fear of burdening others. That's a big one. People often worry that asking will inconvenience someone, so they prioritize others over their own needs. So it's like, no need for me to worry about what I need. Let me just help others because I already feel like I'm a burden. I feel like if I start asking for stuff or if I tell somebody what my needs are or something that I desire to do or anything like that, I feel like I'm going to be a weight on them. And it's probably going to cause them to turn a deaf ear, turn a deaf ear to me, or they might ignore me, or they might abandon me, or they might reject me. Number five, difficulty articulating needs. Sometimes people aren't clear about what they want truly because they fear they won't express it effectively. As I just gave you with my example, I was stumbling and stammering, and it's like, well, wait a minute. I know all of this stuff, a lot of stuff that I want in my life, I desire in my life. I have this stuff written down, I have it typed up, I have it in my heart. But then when I'm asked about it, I'm freezing up and now I'm getting nervous. It's like, where is that coming from? And I can't even really articulate it. I'm just jumping all over the place. So sometimes people have a difficulty articulating their needs, and it's probably because you're not used to doing that on a consistent basis. You just do it internally. Number six, past negative experiences, which I think everything I just mentioned trickles right down to that. Previous attempts to ask for help that were met with criticism, denial, or indifference can discourage future requests. So it's like because I've dealt with this before so many times, I'm just gonna shut my mouth. I'm not gonna say anything. I'll keep all this stuff to myself. I won't tell anybody about anything I need from them. That's why you can see somebody who might um, be evicted from their apartment because they didn't ask anybody for help. They didn't ask for money because maybe in the past when they've asked family members for help, they give them such a hard time. They judge them, they beat them down, they call them names. So it's like I'd just rather be evicted than to get any help from anybody. It's just one example. Now, I want to give you the six areas where hesitation could have started. So we look at where some of this stuff could have been the origin. I think some of you all probably get an idea. Majority of this stuff can start from your childhood. It can start from within your own home and with your immediate family growing up. Number one could be parental modeling. This is where caregivers or your parents, your guardians, may have rarely expressed their own needs or they dismiss yours. So asking may be wrong or unsafe. If you see someone in the house who's always, you see them giving, excuse me, all the time, but you can tell they have needs. You don't see them ask anybody for help. Even as a kid, you might want to be like, mommy or daddy, don't y'all want to ask uncle this, that, and the other, or ask grandma this? And they'd be like, no. It's like, we'll be fine. So it's like, maybe that teaches me if I have a hard time or if I need some help in any kind of way, I'll just bear it. I'll figure it out. But it's no need for me to ask anybody because when I was growing up, my parents didn't ask anybody for help, so I don't need to do that either. Also, you might ask your caregivers for certain needs or things or wants that you have, and they might dismiss it. So then you learn how to just internalize it. Keep it to yourself. No need to ask them again. Second could be conditional love or approval. Now, if you're growing up in certain environments where love or attention is given because of what you have succeeded in something or you're behaving well, this is another way for you to know that now you probably have to perform to get your needs met. Okay. Conditional love or approval. It's like, yeah, it's like this if and then thing. If I'm a good boy, then I'll get my needs met. If I'm a good girl, then I can go to the college I desire, whatever that might be. Everything is an if and then statement, not just because. So if I'm treated conditionally or I'm treated conditionally based on my success or me being a good person, then again this reinforces that I'm loved for what I can do, not who I am. So asking for what I want or need is going to be based off of how can I perform. Number four, neglect or emotional unavailability. If you had parents who were kind of unavailable emotionally, or they were distracted or unresponsive to your needs, you just learn to stop asking. That's like if you go to talk to your dad and he's sitting on the couch, or a family member that's sitting on the couch and you're trying to tell them something and they're just zoned out. They're more focused on the television than they are for you. And y'all remember like on what was it, Family Guy, when the young son is like, "Mom, mom, mommy, mommy, mom, mom, mommy," and she never would say anything. Well, that can be the same case. If I keep calling out to you, keep asking, you're ignoring me, then whatever I have a need of, I'm going to learn to just no need to go to you because you're just going to ignore me. You're not going to listen. You're not going to adhere to anything. You're not going to be engaged. And I want to say this too. When we talk about abandonment, a lot of times, abandonment is not always where people are out of your sight or that you never see them again. Abandonment can be literally where somebody is visible, but they're not present with you. They're not invested. They're not engaged. They don't have any kind of interaction with you. So that's abandonment as well. And I think that ties well into what I'm saying about neglect or emotional unavailability. Number four, over criticism or judgment. So I kind of mentioned this with my story, but again, if you've been judged, shamed, or made to feel your needs are trivial, you learn how to just stay quiet and avoid negative feedback. So, say for example, if you are, I don't know, you might want to go. I think about like maybe when somebody was in high school and they are saying that they're going to need a certain amount of financial aid in order to go to a certain college, and maybe their parents, they're now being hard on them, or family members or friends are being hard on them, talking, well, why you want to go to college in the first place? That's stupid. That's dumb. And it's like, but I need to go to college because I want to have a better career. And it's like, well, now you get beat down or judged or shamed, like I said, for something that you desire to do. And this is a need of yours because you want to have a greater career. You want to have a better life for yourself, which is should be, you would think that would be the goal that your parents or your loved ones will want to have for you. But they offer criticism or they judge you for it. So then you just learn, I think I'll just, to avoid hearing anybody's mouth, I'll just move and do stuff on my own. I won't bring anybody into my decision making. I won't bring anybody into my goals or objectives. I'll just know how to be quiet and because I don't want any backlash. Any backlash. Number five, enforced independence or responsibility too early. This is also could be linked to what we call a parentified child, where a child may grow up very quickly and they may operate in a way as if they are an adult in certain capacities, even parentifying their parents, being a parent to their parents at times, or even others. So again, this is where some children are expected to manage on their own from a young age, so their needs are hidden. So if I have to learn, if somebody's learning to manage things on their own growing up, they learn how to just be more self-reliant, independent, very prematurely. So it's hard for them to even think about asking anybody to help them. It's hard for them to think about petitioning or making a request for something because they feel like they have to figure it out. Or they just continue to navigate their world in just, it's almost like survival mode because who do they have to depend on? Who do they have to rely on? If any of y'all can, if you can think about in your life, maybe where there's some times where you look back now where you think, I may have grew up a little, I may have grown up a little earlier than I wanted to be, than I wanted to. I may have had to feel like I had more responsibility on my shoulders than I should have when I was growing up, which then causes you to overlook your needs at times because you end up meeting the needs of others before your own. So this is why your needs are hidden because you become a parent, an adult, so quick in your mindset mentally. I think, like you say, we have our chronological age. You might have been 10, but mentally you may have been like 35 based on certain experiences that you had. Family conflict or volatility. This is number six. Growing up in homes where asking for needs may trigger anger, tension, or arguments. And this teaches the child, again, to remain silent. This is that silent night. It keeps coming up, that word silent. But with family conflict and volatility, it's like if I learn when I make a request, it brings on anger, rage, or people arguing, yelling at me. Well, then this is going to teach me how to just shut my mouth. This is going to teach me how to shut my mouth. So, last thing I want to mention, y'all. So, last six is three sixes, and don't none of y'all get nervous out there. It's not the mark of the beast, okay? It's just happen to be three sixes broken up in the different categories of what we're talking about when we're speaking of hesitating to speak up. To ask for what you need, or to even just share certain things about yourself. Six ways to conquer hesitation. One is recognize, and we got to have the awareness. Recognize and name your hesitation. Am I afraid of rejection? Am I afraid of being, or do I feel unworthy? Am I trying not to be a burden to other people? The key thing is to make sure you have awareness of why this is happening. And I always say this thing, we say this thing in mental health about name it to tame it. If I can recognize what's coming up for me, why I'm hesitating, I can then tame it and challenge it. I can challenge it and also see what's irrational about this. Am I going to get rejected because this person is not rising to what my need is, or that they're rejecting what I'm saying, or they're not listening to what I'm saying? Uh, the worst thing that somebody can do is tell you no, and that's really not the worst thing. That might be like, okay, good, I can't get this from you, but I can get it from somebody else. Second, reframe asking as a strength. Sometimes in society, we think about asking for what we need as a weakness. It's like, wait a minute, it's a strength. And for most people, if you've come through any of these things I've mentioned, this could actually exemplify great courage for you to speak. As you like, well, I don't never ask nobody for nothing. Well, that doesn't make you weak. Is it humbling sometimes? Yes. But it doesn't make you weak to ask. It makes you weak to, it makes you appear weak. I'll say that when you know that you have needs in your life, you have needs from people, needs from resources, needs just help, and you're not asking anybody for anything, and then you suffer because of it, and you didn't have to. This is where, again, having a need is not being selfish. What you need is not being selfish. It's a way to take care of yourself and also others. Because if you don't take care of yourself, we hear it all the time, you can't take care of anybody else and you're no good to anybody else. So it's like, if I have a need, I need to speak up. If you're in a romantic relationship, if you're dating somebody and you have need, maybe you want to hear from them more often, or maybe you feel like there's been too much distance between you guys. And it's like, well, I need to hear your voice sometimes, or I need to see you sometimes. And again, it might not mean you get 100% of what you want, but that person, or if they're wanting to compromise, they might say, okay, well, you know what? I hear you. So let's work something out that makes sure that both of us are being satisfied. You rise to the occasion. Or again, maybe with a good friend of yours, maybe your best friend, you guys have not made time to hook up with each other and see each other like you used to, or maybe you've fallen off from talking to each other. It's like, okay, well, let me let them know, I need to hear from you sometime. It's like, okay, that person has a choice to either rise up to the occasion or not. It's still no reflection of your worth or your value just because you have a need. And again, I have to say this too. Sometimes we don't like to talk about money, but even if you need help financially from somebody or from somewhere, it's like it's a need. All you can do is ask. Sometimes I think you're gonna get like punished for asking. And some of you have probably had people hold things over your head for asking them things, or they'll help you, but they're gonna go through a whole long lecture and they want to know this and want to know that. And you be like, you know what? I just never mind. I'll figure it out. Okay. Number three, start small. Ask for like minor things with lower stakes. And this is just to build your confidence. The more you start asking for small things, you can just build up and it makes you more confident to know you can ask for what you need without feeling guilty or like you're going to be met with punishment. Ask for small things. You don't have to say, hey, can you buy me a house? I want a house. Can you buy me a house? Can you buy me some? Can you buy me a bath set? Can you buy me a rug from a bathroom? But seriously, just asking for small things, even asking somebody to call you at a certain time, asking for somebody to meet up with you, asking for somebody to join you to do something or whatever it is, asking somebody. I mean, it's just several different scenarios, y'all. I don't want to just keep going down that line, that pipeline, but asking for something small first. Number four, use clear, direct communication. Be specific about what you are actually needing in any way. That's almost like if you have a business proposal or something. It's like if somebody comes before you and says, I'm ready to invest a large amount of money in you, but what do you need?" And you're like, I need, you know, and this is why I say as starting for small things. Because even something like that, a business proposal or somebody wants to invest in you, it's like if you somebody was ready to come fund your dream right now, was you able to be direct and clear about it? If somebody is wanting to be in a relationship with you, can you be clear of what you need from the relationship or even in the marriage? Even in your friendships, even with your family, even from your job. Your job might be willing to ready to give you a raise, or you're petitioning them for a raise. Can you be direct and clear on why you want that raise, why you need that raise? That's all. And again, you don't have to have a dissertation sometimes. I know for me, I can get in my head sometimes, and I may say more than I really want to. But then when I step back, I'm like, okay, let me be as succinct as possible. What am I really needing in this moment? Okay, let me say that without feeling like I have to give an explanation. And sometimes a person may feel like they have to give an explanation, or it may be a little bit more verbose, is because they've been used to having to defend themselves all the time and almost have a dissertation as to why they're asking you for something or that they need something from you. Prepare for responses. Number five. Sometimes people cannot meet you at your request for reasons undetermined or unrelated to you. And separate the need from the outcome. Just because it might not be in your favor with that person or that place or whatever that is, and the need that you have to be met, that has no inclination, like I said, on your worth or your value. So you can't separate your need from the outcome. If the outcome is not favorable, that doesn't have anything to do with maybe your need was too much or it wasn't enough or you're not enough or anything like that. Be prepared for responses. Some people just won't rise to the occasion. I remember having a friend of mine that I asked when I talked to them about stuff for them not to always go to the Bible on me. That was a need of mine. Well, when I kept going to them about things, they would be like, in First Thessalonians, I'm like, you know what, this ain't gonna work. It's like, and I let them know, I keep saying this to you, and you keep throwing scriptures at me, and it really makes me feel unheard. And after I said that, it's like they started to limit their conversations with me, and I haven't heard from them since. And I was still reaching out, like, hey, how you doing? You okay? And no response. And I'm like, I just said if you could refrain from sending me scriptures. I mean, I appreciate you being my friend. That's why I'm coming to you. But I was asking for something that was a need of mine, and they weren't willing to meet that. They didn't have anything to do with me or the outcome. I didn't really have an outcome I was expecting. I was hoping that they would hear me, but maybe they just were in their own way, and that maybe been all that they had to offer me, and that was fine. But that just was something I couldn't take. Last one, seek support and feedback. This could be from trusted friends, mentors, people who can help you practice asking for what you need. I always have people who are accountability people who sometimes you might be a little, if you're a person, again, you're always used to rising to the occasion for others. You're always used to meeting the needs of other people. You're always used to helping others. But when it comes down to you, it's like ghost town. It's like ghost town. It's like, why is it so hard for you to be laser focused on you? Why is it so hard to focus on what you need versus you rising to the occasion of meeting everybody else? And I'm pretty sure a majority of you all that are watching, sometimes you struggle with just thinking about you because you want to make sure everybody around you is good. You want to make sure everybody has what they need. And maybe because a lot of you are leaders, leaders in your family and businesses, corporations, I mean, leadership all around. So you are used to caring for people. You have people who are depending on you to show up. But what about you? What about focusing on you sometimes and also being able, just as much as people can come to you about what they need, can you also go, do you have people in your life that you can say, hey, can you help me with this? Hey, I need you to this. Hey, I kind of need, I need this from you. Whatever that is, whatever that looks like, can you practice doing that without being afraid or nervous or thinking that you're going to be asking too much or that, again, you're a burden to anybody? You're not a burden to anybody. You're not a burden to anyone. If someone feels that you're a burden to them, there might be a person who needs to, they just don't have enough capacity to withhold you in their life. You're not too much. All right, everybody take a breath. I felt like that was kind of a surgery a little bit. That was a little deep for me. And again, these are just six areas. These are three categories of six areas. We have the six areas that cause people to usually hesitate to ask for what they need or even just to express themselves. Six areas where hesitation could have started, the origins of where this could have started. Also, six ways to conquer the hesitation. So, again, real quick recap. Where the six areas that cause people to hesitate could be fear of rejection or disapproval, feeling unworthy or insecure, desire to avoid conflict, fear of burdening others, difficulty articulating needs, and past negative experiences. The six areas where hesitation could have started could have been with parental modeling, conditional love or approval, over criticism or judgment, neglect or emotional unavailability, enforced independence or responsibility, family conflict or volatility. Six ways to conquer hesitation is to first recognize and name your hesitation. Reframe asking as a strength. Start small, use clear, direct communication, prepare for responses, and also seek support and feedback. I know that was a lot, y'all. You might have to rewatch this. It was a lot. But one of the things I felt why this was laid on me to speak about is oftentimes, again, as the relationship we often neglect is the one we have with ourselves. You have needs too. You have wants and desires too. But we shouldn't be afraid to ask for what we need when that could be in any capacity, your job, for a loan, with your husband, with your wife, with your friends, with your family. My pastor has been doing an excellent job on teaching about relationships this month. And there's six different areas that they've been dealing with, because oftentimes we think about relationship and love, we think about romantic, not knowing, we have family, we have friends, we have spiritual, we have social, we have business. You can just go down the line. You can just go down the list of that. But you should be able to ask for what you need, and also realize everybody's not going to rise to the occasion or be able to meet you at your need, and that's okay. But don't suffer in silence and be quiet about it. And it's okay if you're nervous at first to start speaking up, asking people for what you need or things of that nature. This a part of life. But also, the more you do it, the more confident you will become. Speaking from somebody who definitely has experience in that. So I hope that this was helpful tonight, guys. I'm going to let you go. I will see you again here on the Inspiration Station at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Friday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And International Family, y'all already know the deal. Y'all have several different different places, but I'm so glad that all of us are here. If you're watching right now live or if you watch later, I hope that you all are very much so impacted and realize to just say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. And if you have people personally around your life that you can't speak up and speak out to them, might need to be some reevaluation to go on. They should be people who you're able to be safe with in asking for things or mentioning things or just being open about things. Last thing I want to leave with you guys is just when you ask, you give others the chance to show up for you and for yourself. When you ask, you give others the chance to show up for you and for yourself. So we don't want to do a disservice to anybody in our lives, because sometimes people don't know what we need until we speak up and ask. And you'd be surprised at who's ready to come to your aid in whatever way that is, or one person who's willing to make sure that you're seen, make sure you're heard, make sure you know that you're wanted in their lives. So I love y'all. You've always been great. You're just getting better, and you've always recognized it, and now you're embracing it. That was a new one. I added another piece. I said, You've always been great. You're just getting better, and you've always realized it, and now you're starting to embrace it. That's good, because sometimes you knew it. It's just you ignored it, or maybe people tried to get you thrown off of actually being focused on it. So, all right, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all go. See y'all next Friday. Love y'all much. Spread love now more than ever, because we need it, and it starts with you. Bye.
Thanks for watching the Inspiration Station with Joshua Lenox. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.